kill someone and get away with it. Kevin said a dog is never to blame for biting. The dog is only as good as as bad as the handler. Same for law, education, enforcement. Exactly, Kevin. Exactly. They are not the ones controlling what they're doing. Like this is like, for instance, that's like saying all Nazis aren't bad. It's the same damn thing. The only reason you don't see what America has done to black people, and the only reason you don't see the same way, if you took a Jew and you put up the Nazi whatever you call it, the swastika, and told them, you know what, pray to this, bow to this, it's not so bad, all Nazis aren't bad, they will look at you like you were damn crazy. The only reason black people don't look at you like you crazy, because we're the crazy ones. Period. And the same way to say, oh, you know, why all of them ain't bad, or what's so wrong, or excuse me, the same way they say Hitler was controlling the Nazis, so what the Nazis in wholesale, they'll make a sweeping generalization of what the Nazis are doing is wrong. You should be looking at it the same way as looking at what America is and what America is doing in reference to black people. As a sweeping generalization, that is wrong. Is there some nuance associated with the topic? Yes. But overall, until we have the power to really make decisions, people always want to tell us, reach out to the police. Why don't you listen to the police? You know, Tori, hey man, we're going to have a meeting with the sergeant. I don't want to talk to the damn people because, first of all, listen, in a sense, if you look at the history and what's going on right now, particularly with the past few years and the deaths and the things that's happening, you could make the statement that the police, I don't want to say we at war with the police, but we could say the police is damn sure at war with us, with things that they've done and what they're doing to us. Alright, so if you look at war, two nations that are at war, before a nation, at times they'll say, you know what, we're at war with, nation A is at war with nation B. Alright, and people may say, you know what, nation A president, you need to go and meet with nation B. But nation A president will say, listen, before I meet with nation B president, we have to have some pre-existing conditions get met. Okay? Pre-existing conditions need to be met. And before we meet with these officers and always sitting up here trying to talk to these officers when all you're really doing is giving these officers the opportunity for propaganda, you sit up here shaking their hand, some people over here smiling, taking selfies and with the police. All you're doing is giving them an opportunity for positive propaganda when you should be saying, listen, before we meet, it's some pre-existing conditions that need to be met. And for me, some of the pre-existing conditions that I would suggest, I want them to openly speak out about some of these things that are happening. So, openly speak out about some of these enhanced uses of force. Openly speak out and say, listen, I think this was wrong. This officer should go to jail. This is something you never hear them say. People criticize the streets for their no snitching policy, but we don't talk about the police and their no snitching policy. How about the streets will drop their no snitching policy, or they like to say, oh, black people don't never want to cooperate with the police and say what's going on. Well, you never want to cooperate against your own people, and you're supposed to be the ones leading the example. You're supposed to be the ones we tell to, but you're not even cooperating when it comes to your own people. So if you want to meet with the police and do all of this, how about we get some pre-existing conditions? And I'm not the one grand person to say what the pre-existing conditions are, but we should come up with some pre-existing conditions before we meet with police. Look at a couple comments. Kevin said it's not about being strong-minded. The only way to circumvent the system is by not participating in their system. As long as we participate by signaling, signing up to enforce their ideals, we will continue to lose. That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, you're acquiescing to what they have set up, thinking that it's going to help you. But my thing is, a war is like two people, or we don't have to say war, that's dramatic, but we could say, listen, we as a nation of people, and then there's you as a nation of people. If you want us to step in your direction, you need to step in our direction. It needs to work both ways. We can't, you can't just keep coming to us. Here we are, the same police. Yeah, we know somebody just shot a black person down, and black people feel a bad way about it, and we're the same police here, and we haven't spoke out against it, but we want to reach a hand out to you again. What's wrong with you people? Why don't you just understand? Why can't you just meet with me? Tori, why you got to talk about all these niggas sitting here cheesing with the police and smiling in pictures and always want to meet with the police like it's doing something? Okay, because I got a problem with it. That's why. And ain't no good cop, because the function of a cop is not made by them. We should be working on changing the entire function of what a cop is. A lot of people say we need, and I know I'm going on for a minute. I'm gonna just keep talking though. But a lot of people say we need community policing, and you, of course you need that, right? You need people from your own community being the same ones that police and do the police work in the community. 100% you need that. But we can't have people signing up and jumping into the same function of what exists now, because that's just going to lead to people just being wasted. GJ said they always say if they don't do anything wrong, there's nothing to worry about. Yeah, that's the biggest con game ever. That's just them setting you up. You know what I mean? To have your privacy invaded. That's just another excuse for them, to make you feel bad about the fact that you have a problem with them always being on your back. He said, same way they want Muslims to condemn ISIS. That's a good point, Kevin. Exactly. They'll say, oh, well, the Muslims never say anything about the extremists. But here they are. They call themselves Brothers in Blue or whatever. Blues, down low blue, whatever they call that stuff. And they don't even say anything when they're on. They never speak out against what the other officers do. But when it comes time for ISIS or something like that, or the extremist Muslims, they want to criticize the entire Muslim community because they don't speak out on every single issue. Not to mention that most of the time Muslims do speak out against these other Muslims, and the main target a lot of time are other Muslims. You know what I'm saying? But that's a good point. That's a contradiction. But like I said, I've been going on for a minute, but I think at least if you hear me say after police or there is no good cop, I'm not saying that there aren't some cops who are probably good guys and help old ladies across the street and all that stuff. I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? It's like we got with the SDP or whatever, all these different people. I'm sure there's 8 to 10 good cops in America somewhere. You know what I'm saying? On the planet. I'm playing, but not really. But, anyway, that's not the point of that I'm making. The point that I'm making is that the function of an officer was set up during slavery, and I didn't even cover that, and it's continued as the same function in relation to black people, as it doesn't act for us, so we don't feel safe with it. And we need to stop shaking hands and doing all this different stuff unless the police want to change what they're doing. All right, then we'll change what we're doing. Until then, here we continue as victims basically under this, because we don't control this, even though we're forced to pay taxes to it. So, I said a lot, but that's really it, man. To check out here, what else he said. Rashad said in the military, one thing, destroying power lights TV. All right, brother, that's long. I'm gonna have to check. Yeah, I'm gonna catch that one after the stream. But yeah, if they ain't nothing else, J. Cole's response. Yeah, J. Cole basically said what I just said. It's just like, to try to say that, it's just a fallacy. It's something that they do where basically it's just rhetoric where they're not addressing the issue. But that's pretty much it, man. I've said all I had to say, man. Get some pre-existing conditions before you meet with these police and smiling selfies. And for all the people that want to say F the police just because they're the arm of white supremacy and they have to do the actual damage and harm, and that's the only thing you can comprehend, I would challenge you to say, why don't you say F America? If you say F the police, say F America. You know what I'm saying? Or excuse me, why don't you say F America? That's all I want to know. I'm just curious. If you say F the police, why don't you say F America? You know what I mean? He said, be safe, brother. Yeah, I should, man. I'll probably get pulled over on the way home fucking with this video. Just the title alone. But, all right, man. I'm going to holler at y'all. I'll check back in. I got a few things, man. I want to talk about Myrtle Cole and what she said about the marijuana dispensaries. I'm going to get in on that. And I got The Richest Man in Babylon. It's a book. It's a book on finance. A very simple book, short book. I'm gonna do an overview of that book. Somehow I'm gonna get it done. But so yeah, y'all just be looking out for my live streams, and I'll holler at y'all, man. Peace, Kevin, and peace to the brother Rashad. All y'all, man. Peace, GJ. I'll holler at y'all, man.